Hi everyone, welcome to InfraViewing Spotlight Series. I'm delighted to say we've got Simon Moyes, the Technical Services Director of CAE, under the spotlight today. CAE are a multi-award-winning, multi-vendor, leading IT solution provider. They've got over 2,000 customers UK-wide, offering a managed and professional services. I'd like to say they're a Cisco beast, though I'm sure Simon will give a far more professional overview and some wow factors and insights as we go through the podcast. So Simon, welcome. How are you, mate?
All good, mate. Thanks a lot. Thanks for that introduction.
No.
Cisco beast, like it.
Yeah, as I say, I'm sure you can add a little bit more value than that. Yeah. But look, first of all, really appreciate your time. I know you're super busy. Hopefully we can get some juicy insights throughout this conversation, make it a bit of a two-way chat. But I should probably kick off with, give us a quick overview of your career so far.
Yeah, so I think my career is probably not your atypical career in the IT reseller land. I've actually been with CAE since 2003. And it was actually my first entry into IT reseller land and my first job from university. So I joined the company as a business analyst, reporting directly into the now CEO, Justin Harlin. Basically, the bit that grabbed my attention from that role was web design, right? It was one of those job descriptions that had 100 different activities on it. CAE was a company of probably 20 people in size, so lots of different hats that need to be worn. But as a fresh grad out of uni, similar to now where you've got DevOps is what everyone wants to do, it was web design, right? So I saw that and I was like, oh, wow, okay, this sounds awesome. So jumped in there into CAE back in 2003, was met by Justin at that time, was told I'd only be there 2 to 3 years, using CAE as a stepping stone. And look, 2021, still here, really lucky to have had the opportunities that CAE have given me and worked hard for them to now sit as part of that senior leadership team. Got a background in project management, so that's how I kind of grew within the organization, going through project management and then into Cisco services specifically, and kind of became a bit of a Cisco services expert. So yeah, Cisco PSS, smart spares programs, all of those kind of elements led them here at CAE, and which are real core of what we do. And as you say, you mentioned our Cisco business, it's absolutely huge to us. And that's me really. So brilliant. I kind of started and went through a variety of roles within CAE, but kind of have been here since that early days, and seen us gone from 20 people to well over 300 now.
Awesome. Look, I love that journey as well, and working with CAE for a long time now, what's big internally is that development, that progression,
100%.
Multiple paths, and you're living proof of that, going in there from an interest in websites to now sitting there as technical services director, and, with a bit of project management in between. It's like, wow, you've got a business there that caters for people's interests and career development. I love it. I was going to, that probably leads nice on from a business perspective. Tell me what the core focus is as a business currently, because I've certainly been involved in a lot of changes at CAE, but I'd love to hear from you now. What's that core business focus?
So I think right now it's about building the right structure to support our desired growth goals, right? Okay. And obviously, when you talk about growth, a lot of people go, "Oh, growth for shareholder value." That's not what we're doing, right? What the whole ethos around CAE is around our people. If you look at our purpose and our why, if you like, is people need amazing technology, but technology needs amazing people. And there's real emphasis on that people element. So for us, it's about growing to give opportunity to our team and our people. And as you say, I'm lucky enough to be one of those people that's been on a journey and been through lots of roles, but there are so many of those stories within CAE. There's lots of always opportunity within CAE, and it's just about taking that. So making sure that we're building those right structures to support that, whether that's a focus, and I know we're working closely with you at the moment, or within our pre-sales team, whether that's a focus around splitting our pre-sales team and growing that from a perspective of a focus within public sector and building a team that's public sector facing, and then a team that's private sector, and actually then being able to look at that and how we take that down the next level within private sector, whether that's within our managed services delivery arm, where we're about to invest in a couple of new managers around a NOC manager and a service desk manager to make sure that we've got those structures that support growth with the right levels and roles in place to support that. So I'd say that's really our core focus. It's around building those structures and the strategy. We've done a lot of work around our strategy in terms of making sure, what do we want to be known for? What we're going to go after, right? We've organically grown hugely. as I mentioned.
Yeah.
And it is just making sure that we continue that growth, but in a structured way, and we don't lose those elements of what makes us CAE. And that's the focus on our people, our culture, all of that kind of stuff.
Love it. I was just about to say, yeah, culture's key, right? You know, I think
Absolutely.
We've sort of moved away from, you know, it's all about the money. It's all about, you know, just give me a better basic, more commission, whatever. You know, actually, it's about that culture. It's about the staff, the development, and what that business is doing around the sort of strategy to keep people motivated, to keep them progressing and understanding their interests and desires. And I love it. I mean, God, you know, if you look at CAE, you know, sort of Glassdoor recommendations and, you know, your references from anyone in the industry just talks about, you know, how you look after your staff, which I love. And yeah, putting that in now alongside the company vision and strategy, I think is key, because some people 100%. Will have a vision and strategy, but they won't share it with their staff, and they won't show how they're going to be part of that and how they can influence and implement, you know, their own personal development. So yeah, I love it. And in terms of that perfect client, I mean, what does that look like at the moment in terms of size and sort of vertical?
Yeah. So for us, defining a perfect client within CAE is really pertinent because it really fits in as part of that strategy piece that we're going on at the moment. And within CAE at the moment, there's a buzzword, ideal customer profile. Right. And we're really working really hard to define that ideal customer profile. But ironically, it doesn't necessarily sit based on size and vertical alone. We're looking at things like shared values. We're making sure that we're working with customers who have shared values with CAE to make sure that we can deliver true intimacy. Intimacy, bit of a funny word, but it's core to our strategy, right? It's core to our strategy. We want to build intimacy with our customers and our clients. And basically, it's about making sure that we define that ideal customer profile based on that. There's lots of work going on in there. And then it'll be about how we engage with those customers. We may still transact with customers who maybe don't fit that ideal customer profile, but the ones that we want to invest our resources in and our people in and our teams and have multiple touch points, that's going to be part of that ideal customer profile. So I know it doesn't exactly answer the question. Don't get me wrong. We have two focuses. We have a private sector focus and a public sector focus. Public sector, much clearer in terms of that perfect client of who we're looking for. Private sector, it's much more about making sure that we're looking at that ideal customer profile in terms of shared values and all of that kind of element.
Simon, I love what you said there. I think it is the perfect. I think it is the perfect answer, because it's almost like, what does a perfect client look like for CAE? Well, you create the perfect client, right? Through relationships, through partnerships. Because yes, there are multiple clients you can add value and sell a solution and a service or whatever. But to get the most amount of value from both sides, it's about investing time. One cap doesn't fit all right anymore. It's like, you know, understanding what that client needs. The technology may be the same, but the solution and the service could be different, and it's about understanding. And I love what you said there. Yeah, you know, partnering and understanding and investing in the right business that value CAE as well, right? It's got to be a two-way thing. Perfect. And
absolutely, and they've got to want to engage with us. That's the thing. If they don't want to engage with us and it's just a transactional, or they want a partner to, want of a better phrase, choke the throat.
Yeah,
that's not us. That's not what we're looking for, right? We're not looking for that.
Brilliant. Your camera's gone quite dark. I don't know if that's something that on your side.
Let me just.
No worries.
Let me change the blinds and see if that makes any difference.
There we go.
There you go.
Perfect. I don't want the audience to feel you disappeared.
No, absolutely, mate. It's just, I think the sun's obviously moved around a little bit.
Nah, that's perfect. And look, that sort of leads on to, I suppose, where you've been focusing on that sort of partner investment and relationship, and creating the best client for both parties. What have you seen in terms of having to overcome sort of challenges over the last few years? I don't just mean COVID. I just mean,
I was going to say, look, COVID's the obvious one, and it wouldn't be fair to not talk about that and talk about how proud I was in terms of how, as a service operation, literally overnight, we turned into a completely remote workforce whilst maintaining customer satisfaction and SLA and employee satisfaction, right? We did that. So absolutely. But as you say, COVID, I mean, obviously I talked about growth earlier, and we know we've been through a lot of growth. And I'm not going to lie, that's had challenges, right? Organic growth causes challenges, but we're always looking at people, process, and technology, and looking at how we can address each one of them to make sure that we can build that sustainable growth. And I think for me, that's been a challenge for us. Culturally, we've had a challenge. We've obviously linked to COVID. We've had return to work. Obviously, that causes challenges. I think we've dealt with that pretty well. I'm confident with that, with a new flexible way of working. It's not completely flexible, but it gives us the best of both worlds. I mean, for me personally, I'm back in the office 5 days a week, and I love that. I thrive on it.
Same here.
The people interaction just makes such a difference to my well-being and my engagement and my achievement of what I want to do on a day-to-day basis. And even just that half an hour commute, just having that time to think right?
Absolutely.
For me personally, is the element. Systems have been a challenge, right? We still, before the pandemic, we were still walking around with pieces of paper to get things signed, right? So we've had to accelerate that to an electronic process, but we've overcome it. It's now just making sure that we can drive and move forward. We'll probably talk a little bit about product and in terms of the chip delays and things like that. Obviously, that's a challenge that we face right now.
Yeah.
And we're looking at how we transform our business to make sure that we're not impacted by that delay, because obviously, although the industry's gone through a lot of change towards software and services, a lot of those need product to even exist.
Still need product. Right? Yeah, absolutely.
So it's how do we do things differently to overcome that? But those primary challenges are being linked to growth and making sure that we can sustainably grow that and obviously maintain that culture that we want, because we don't want people to think of just themselves as a number. Every single person within CAE can make a difference, can drive change, and is part of our continual service improvement plan.
Love it. And look, that point around driving change and where each individual can actually be part of that. I think personally, again, not dwelling on COVID, I think we were forced to make changes. And I think the businesses that have adapted to that, embraced it, put a structure in place that will benefit the business, the customer and staff are doing well, and they're able to grow and scale. So yeah, brilliant. And in terms of that sort of plan, have you got a 12, 18, 24-month plan at the moment? I appreciate it's a really big question, but right now, if you were to sort of sum that up, what's the plan?
So I think our plan at the moment is looking at how we do, going back to that growth, is how we do it in a sustainable ways, with maintaining our core focus on our people. We're looking at things like automation, obviously, again, a buzzword within the market. How do we improve service delivery around automation? We're looking at DevOps and how that fits in with us. We've had some real success. It might be unfair, but dipping our toes in DevOps. I mean, even just last week or a couple of weeks ago at Cisco Partner Summit, or we came third place in the Meraki DevOps thing, where led by Alistair McKean, he's started to build these applications, this application Wiser Watts, that we're looking at, and we're looking at how we grow that business unit. Obviously, only last week we acquired our first company for a long time, Novus. But again, as part of that acquisition, that was there to bring in skills, but with no desire to smash the two companies together and see what falls out. Novus runs as a separate entity, and obviously we look at their Microsoft skills and we look at their capability and how we can utilize that across our CAE customer base whilst growing them. They're in a different market to us. They're in, if you like, schools and NHS. The NHS mapping to us, but the smaller schools, it's not really what we do. We do more higher education and FE. So the plan is more along those lines. DevOps, possible acquisition, don't know. I hope that's not a spoiler alert out there. There's nothing ongoing at the moment, but it's always open to hears. Where it's right for CAE and the culture's right, we'll look to build that. So I wouldn't say it's a defined 12, 24-month plan, because we're much more fluid than that, and we listen to what's going on. However, we do have some core principles that we're looking at in terms of how we can build our future business.
Brilliant. And I think being fluid's key in the sort of managed service solution provider world, right? Because multiple clients, different technologies, pipeline changing, from month to month. And
absolutely.
I think fluidity is key, adaptability. And I suppose, guys, I don't know if I like this question, but the famous USPs, if you were going to market and talking about those core USPs, in your eyes, Simon?
I was going to say there's probably that answer where actually, as you say, now I'm probably going to give the default answer that everyone expects, and everyone says. I personally believe it's our approach, right? I genuinely believe it's about how we approach business. As we talked about earlier, we talk about ideal customer profile, we talk about shared values, we talk about all of that kind of elements. It's about us and our people and our approach that makes us different. We have a clear approach with engaging with customers, particularly in our Cisco business. We've got our network intelligence platform, which is a self-built platform based on the Cisco Smart Collector, which takes it to that next level, which we use as a discovery tool. We do discover and assess. We assess what's going on in a customer's environment, not from a point of view of business generation, whilst it can give us that opportunity. It's more around that intimacy and driving with clients and telling them what's going on in their network. We'll then do a 5-year forward view in terms of looking at what's the future of their potential future of their network. And again, if they want to do that with us, brilliant. But that approach really helps to drive that credibility, that reliability, all of those kind of elements that are really core to our strategy. Our strategy is actually built on the trust equation. And it's really core to us. And we're looking at how in our other sectors, so with our Dell business and our Microsoft business being our core focus areas, I know that's broad, but they're our core three manufacturers, Cisco, Dell, and Microsoft. So how do we have those assessment services or those discovery services and then broaden the conversation? And that's it really. As I say, we try and pride ourselves on multiple touch points. Obviously, capability is key for us in terms of USP. I think that our capability is deep and wide, but within our core focus skill set. And we have a strategy that defines what that is.
Love it. And look, there's no shadow of a doubt, you know, in terms of sort of core tech and that focus, I mean, CAE are absolutely leading in that space, right? And what about flipping it slightly? You know, what technology do you think, you know, will most disrupt the market, you know, in the next 12 months? Any idea?
We touched on, so again, probably not answering the question directly, but we touched on it earlier. I think product, right? I think product is going to disrupt the market.
Love it.
The most in the next 12. As in delays, right? We're seeing that now. When you're going on a Cisco bill of materials and you're seeing 999 as the ETA on hardware, you're having to look at how you do business differently. So for me, that's a huge disruptor. And I think that we touched on it earlier. Whilst we talk about a transition, and Cisco themselves talking about a transition to a software company, you still need that product in the background. And even from a service delivery, we still need that product in the background. So I think that's going to be the biggest disruptor for the market in the next 12 months. And it's going to be how we adapt our offerings and our practices to be able to make sure that we can maintain our business. And as I say, whether that be DevOps, whether that be consumption-based services with Azure and things like that, which are all the obvious answers, right? And probably you could have asked me the same question 2 years ago and I'd have said the same thing, but I think that's where it's kind of going. And it's just making sure that we consider that when we're looking at how we do business.
Totally. And look, the word product and the change that we've had to all experience in terms of delays, you know, I think has had to change people's mindset when they go out initially and sell, you know, and interact from a sort of business evangelist point of view. You know, it's not all about, I can get that tomorrow. You know, it's about accounting for, you know, the delays and disruptions and stuff. But and I love it. And in terms of how do you see the market evolving? You know, and that's a really generic question. But if we sort of say evolving from a technology or product perspective, either way would be great to get your thoughts.
I think the interesting word there is evolving.
Yeah.
Do you know, I think you're absolutely right. I think it's an evolution. I don't think it's a revolution. Sometimes we talk about complete change in direction. I think it is an evolution. I think even from a point of view of that looking at the cloud market, right, in terms of everyone's going to cloud, no they're not, they're going to hybrid, no, where are we now on that map?
Now we're doing
not quite sure. Absolutely. So it's like where are we at? And I think it's absolutely an evolution. And I think that I'm not going to get my crystal ball out and say where I think it's going, but I think it's exactly that. I think it's a slight tweak on what we're doing now and where we're going, but making sure that we're aware of some of those disruptors that's going, whether it be product, whether it be new entrants to the market, whether it's be people getting their act together on their security product, and finally it's all end to end and talking. I think that's where we're going to see that evolution and move forward. So it probably doesn't answer your question specifically, but that's my...
Absolutely does. And I think what stood out there was where you said, so we're aware, you know, we're aware of that evolution. We're aware of that evolving, whether it be product, technology, whatever that may be. If you have the right vision, the right strategy, the right process, the right people, actually you can identify if that potentially is an issue or you do need to slight change from a technology or product perspective. So being aware of those potential changes and risk is key, right?
100%.
I get asked this all the time, you know, building the right culture. I mean, I have to say, you know, working with CAE, you know, placing people there, everyone always talks about the culture, the teamship, you know, away days, team, you know, just team building, and certainly your culture brochure is amazing. You know, how do you go about building that, you know, personally in your team?
Yeah. So personally for me, I think it's about, for me, I've always tried to be a leader that leads from the front. Right? Lead by example. I'm not a person that wouldn't be willing to ask someone to do something unless I'm going to do it myself, right? Unless I'd be willing to do it myself. And I've got numerous examples throughout my career where I've done that, whether that's be a project manager back in the days where I'm down in warehouse with the warehouse guys putting stuff on the back of a van, or racking a 6509 switch with a consultant on a Saturday, being there to support them to live and breathe it. So I've tried to build that to make sure that I've got an appreciation of what people are experiencing, and then an understanding of the kind of things that they go through, right? Because again, as we've grown, it can be challenging to even speak to everybody like I used to. And personally, I've been challenged by that, right? And COVID in particular challenged me the most, because I felt that I was speaking to the same 7 people week in, week out, whereas I got a team of 150, right? Whereas before I was in the knock, in the epicenter of what was going on, and I could hear it, I could speak to people. I'm not overconfident as an individual, so I'm not the person that's just going to pick up the phone and do a water cooler chant, for want of a better phrase. But that's kind of it. It's been about leading from example. As a company, I think what we do is we look really heavily at the Times Best Company survey. We use that really heavily as a feedback mechanism to drive culture. Brilliant. We see all feedback as good feedback, right?
Yeah.
We know as a leadership team, we do not have all of the answers. We know that. And if anyone ever sees me and I come across as I do have all of the answers, you have permission to slap me. But we don't have all the answers. And I think that Best Company survey, and we've recently changed to a quarterly mechanism, whilst people will say, oh, survey fatigue and all this kind of stuff, it genuinely means a lot to us, because it gives us an opportunity to have our finger on a pulse in terms of what's going on, how people are feeling, and then drive action off the back of it. And as I say, we want to build a culture of accountability and ownership, with all of the reward that comes with that as well, and the investment in people. And actually, if we're not delivering on that, we need to be told. And that survey gives a platform for people to do that anonymously, because I'll sit in team meetings all the time, right? And you go there and you're like, right, any questions? Whoop, silent. Or you got the same voices talking over and over again. This survey just means everyone has that opportunity, and you can see as I say, the heat map gives you that opportunity to see where people are feeling.
And I think it's so important, right? In any business, any size, I often come out of meetings, and, when we are any questions, there aren't any, and it's all silent. You kind of walk out and I go, I smashed that. I nailed it. Yeah, they're all right. But actually, sometimes giving them that, that opportunity to give their, off the record feedback. Some people aren't as vocal as others, right? And you can take that negative feedback, if it is there, and go back and put a positive slant on it. So
100%. And I'll be honest with you now. We'll talk about an example about it, just to be open and honest. Training and development within this organization, right? Within the technical team specifically, we give training and development, but the people or the teams felt that a lot of it was to do with the company. So whether that be the Gold Partnership or where we were going. So what we're doing is, what we've done is we're launching a new technical services continuous learning policy, where we're putting out there and we're saying, guys, look, we take that on board. We want this to be about you. What do you want to do? Engage with us and take that. And actually, we'll give you a commitment of time that we'll measure ourselves on as a department. So not you measuring it, we'll measure it. We'll own that number as a key KPI in terms of where we're giving you that opportunity to train and deliver. Rather than the age old, right, we put you on a week course. Oh no, customer Joe Blogs needs you next week. We're going to have to cancel that training course, which is not uncommon in the industry. We're going to start taking account as a department to do that. And we use the Best Company survey feedback to drive that, to make sure that it was fair and just across everybody. And that's what we've done.
Love it. And look, it's actually understanding what their needs and passion and desires are, opposed to saying the company needs you to get certified in this because we've got a big pipeline of these projects, where they might not have a passion or an interest in that. And I absolutely love it. And I think that's so key in today's market is, just understanding why people, what motivates people, it's not just about money, it's about culture, business, training, development, and people actually want to see and feel what that looks like. And it's all great saying at interview stage and, when an agent's talking about a great opportunity and award-winning business, but it needs to be backed up throughout the whole process from start to the whole way throughout their career. They need to see that evolvement, if you like, in their progression. No, I love it. Right, a little bit more about you, Simon. So, God, they can be short or longer answers. What's the biggest sort of career success for you personally? So to date, what's your biggest career success?
So I can almost see a number of members of my team going, "Oh my God, he's going to go on about this again." Look, as a personal highlight, right? My biggest career success, and the one that I'm so proud of, is I was the project manager that had complete ownership for the delivery of Europe's first stadium vision deployment down at the Millennium Stadium, it was known at the time. Awesome. Owning that, delivering that, being honest, not having the experience probably to do that was amazing. It was such a buzz. Even if I spent 9 months of my life down in Cardiff for my sins, it was absolutely fantastic. And the team that we had down there was amazing. I learned new things such as CDMs, so business project, building project management and things like that. I had to learn it and I had to do it. And it was an absolute buzz. And seeing that first Autumn International go live, where the screens at both ends, which we managed and deployed, all 454 screens in the stadium, streaming content, what a buzz that was. And even from a point of view of being able to talk about it when the Six Nations was on the TV, to say, right, we did that, I was there. That's my personal one. But look, the most recent one for me is the role that I find myself in today. I mean, look, seeing technical services grow to nearly 50% of the company is amazing. When I came in, there was, even as 20 people, there was probably 2 or 3 technical people, right? That's what it was. We now have this capability that is over 50, almost 50% of the company is technical services and is to do with service delivery and technical capability. I'm so proud to have been a part of building that. I'm not going to take sole responsibility for that.
Sure.
That's not my style, but seeing that happen, that I can't help but be proud of that element, and seeing what we do on a day-to-day basis with our clients is brilliant.
And you should be. I mean, it's amazing. And just hearing your passion from, one of your previous success to sort of now, 2 very different roles, but equally, the same amount of passion. I can feel it and absolutely love that. That self-satisfaction from, 2 very different stages of your career,
100%.
But both giving you that sense of just, achievement, right? I mean,
absolutely. And as I say, the fact that I still talk about it now, as I say, I know I bore people about it, but genuinely, I mean it. I genuinely mean it.
Would you go back and do it if you had a chance?
100%.
Without the same project, would you?
Without a doubt, mate. Hopefully it'd be at Anfield, but or Twickenham. But no, it was an unreal experience, and in terms of learning and developing as an individual, and the relationships I built there with my team and third parties that we used, it's something that I genuinely hold dear to me.
Brilliant. And congrats on that, mate. They both of them sound, amazing and cool. And in terms of a couple of bits around advice, what advice would you have for others looking to get into technology?
Grasp the opportunity. Do you know what I mean? The opportunity within the IT industry is huge. It's everywhere. Learn to love change. Don't be resistant to change, right? For me, change is constant. It's only one of the other constants. And look, you can do management studies around all the different methodologies and all that kind of stuff, but change is constant. Learn to love it. Learn to be part of it. Learn to be part of the solution, not the problem, all of that kind of stuff. I mean, for us, we've just launched an amazing degree apprenticeship program, which was a passion of mine, because I saw the opportunities that CAE specifically could do. And we've just launched that. And I think if having that available now and seeing that opportunity that gives people, even from a point of view that I'm gearing my 2 doors to say, look, this opportunity is here. Do you know what I mean? If we're still running this in 6 years, when you hit 18, come and do it. For me, it is awesome. But I think, don't wait for opportunity to come to you. Sometimes you have to take it. And as I say, there will always be opportunities for that. And don't be afraid to put your head above the parapet. If you don't put the head above the parapet, then fail fast, all of that kind of stuff. You learn from failure. Every decision I've made has not been a success. Learn from it. Grow, develop. That's it. So lots of different aspects in there, but lots of different things.
Simon, I absolutely love it. And you know what? This is what I love about these spotlights podcasts, just literally 2 guys chatting about interest, passion, technology, but bringing it all together with, do you know what? embrace change, stand above the rest, just go and take the opportunity and give it your best shot and be the best version of yourselves on a daily basis. Right. And,
absolutely,
the rest will come. No, I absolutely love it. And look, that training, apprenticeship, all that kind of academies right now, it's the big thing, promoting within. That's what every single company wants to sort of do and see and be able to promote. Cool. Okay, cool. So what do you admire most, about the sector, the channel, personal or from a company perspective? Personal, what do you admire the most?
I think for me, if I look at who I admire in the channel, I think it's hard for me to not look within CAE. Now, this might seem all emotional and those kind of stuff, but there's two individuals throughout my career. There's been numerous individuals throughout my career at CAE that have really helped me grow and develop. And every engagement I have with everybody is an opportunity to learn. And I genuinely mean that and understand. But I think Justin Harling, our CEO, he was the one that took the risk on me that day one. He had a more experienced business analyst, or he had a fresh out of university graduate. He took me on. He saw something in me. I don't know what. Despite that comment, I'd only be here 2 years. He's helped develop me and grow me as an individual. He's challenged me. He even overlooked me for this role.
Right.
But as he says now, that was a success because it took me, then gave me the drive and passion to say, no, I want this role. How am I going to get this role? And thankfully the opportunity came back around. So there's Justin there. And if I just look at how he's led CAE to what it's become,
he's an impressive individual.
It's impressive. I think then as well, Agre Luter, our culture director.
Okay.
I've reported into him in numerous roles throughout my time at CAE. His ability to support and nurture me, his ability to take me in when I'm frustrated and challenged, and then me come out feeling invigorated and motivated and ready to go again, and then go, hang on a minute, what happened there? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel buzzing was amazing, and I've really tried to model myself on both of those individuals throughout my career. So I think it's fair to me to say that I admire both of those individuals. There's obviously lots of people within the industry or technology-wise that I do admire, but I think from a company perspective, I think any company that realizes it's about their people, that resonates with me, and it means something to me. Genuinely, you cannot achieve without your people, and if you haven't got them on board with your journey and your vision and all that kind of stuff, you may get short-term success, but you're not going to get sustainable success. And I think anyone that can do that, they deserve to be admired, because it is really, really something to be proud of.
Absolutely. Look, like we said at the beginning, been there since 2003, living proof that you can develop and progress. You've gone through different paths, you've taken on different roles. And of course, you're going to admire, Justin and senior members of the boards that have, taken their faith and shown you guidance at times. And, you've proved them right and wrong, but adapted
absolutely
to that failure and overcome. Mate, I absolutely love it. Right. I'm going to, we got some quick, fun fire questions.
Okay.
I'm going to read a couple of these off, and we're coming to the end. But right, so I'm going to fire a few out. So, which three people would you most like to invite to dinner?
Jamie Carragher.
Yep.
Elon Musk. And Neil Ruddock.
Love it. Cool. Xbox or PlayStation?
Xbox.
Good man. Football or rugby?
Oh, football.
Oh, okay. I disagree on that, but
there's a both. Well, the problem is that's an equaliser for me, because I do love both, but I've played football my whole life. So
cool. Degree or apprenticeship?
Oh, wow. Do you know what? So I didn't do an apprenticeship, and I know this is going to be quick fire, so I apologise. I didn't do an apprenticeship. I did a degree, apprenticeship. That says everything.
Good. Yeah. One thing, like a personal passion or a hobby that no one knows that you have.
Wow. Okay.
Millions are going to find out.
All right. I'm a keen vegetable grower.
Love it. Cool. That's another story for another day. Right.
Absolutely.
Favorite technology in the last 20 years?
Favorite technology in the last 20 years? Unified communications.
Cool.
Mix of it.
Cool. Best thing about working in the channel in one word?
Opportunity.
Lovely. Worst thing about working in the channel? 2 words, if need be.
Pace.
Cool. Motto that you live by? So top advice, basically, you've been given, or your own personal motto that you live by.
Grasp the opportunity.
Love it. And one thing you'd like to have to be known for that, you know, at the beginning of your career.
Being inspirational and leading by example. Love
it. Brilliant, Simon. Honestly, thank you so much. That's been absolutely amazing. I've found that really, yeah, it's been great. There's some brilliant insights there. I hope everyone has enjoyed Simon joining us today on the InfraViewing Spotlight. Once again, thanks so much for your time, Simon.
Thank you for having me.
You know, I really appreciate that. And you know, if anyone has got any questions for Simon, you know, please feel free to comment below. Or if anyone wants to take part of the spotlight and go under the grilling like Simon did today, feel free to give me a shout on 020-3865-1561 or all of my details below. Thanks again, Simon. Really appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Cheers,
Thank you very much for having me. Cheers. Thank you.